Good evening. I'm Jade Biloxa in for Melanie Christopher.
And I'm Byron Brown. A civil rights legend, radio host, and local icon has died. Charles Evers, the brother of assassinated civil rights legend Medgar Evers, has died today at the age of 97.
His efforts at carrying on his late brother's work leaves behind a remarkable legacy. 12 News' Kayla Thompson joins us with how many are remembering him. Kayla?
Yes, Charles Evers was the brother of the late Medgar Evers, and his work carrying on his brother's legacy made him a civil rights icon. Those who knew Charles Evers say he took charge and made an impact wherever he went.
Life itself is hard, so you can't expect everything to be good, but it's been good to me.
Today we celebrate the life of Charles Evers, a civil rights pioneer who will be remembered for his courage and working alongside his brother Medgar Evers to make Mississippi a better place for all people.
They went together to the polls in 1946 to try to vote in their hometown of Decatur, only be turned away by white men with guns. They were very involved in the civil rights movement. I mean, before the modern civil rights movement, usually most people begin it in 1954. They were involved in, campaigning, trying to get African Americans to vote. And, Medgar was out selling insurance to sharecroppers and trying to get them to vote.
And when Medgar Evers was assassinated in 1963, his brother Charles returned to Mississippi, immediately jumping into action.
And he told me he packed a suitcase with, basically all these weapons, guns and weapons, and came down to Mississippi and took his brother's place.
Charles Evers went on to make history as the first African-American mayor in Mississippi since Reconstruction.
He was elected in '69. If it hadn't been the Voting Rights Act, he would have never been elected. And so it was the changes that began to come to Mississippi and the rest of the country because of the Civil Rights Act, and especially the Voting Rights Act in 1965.
Evers was also one of the first black disc jockeys in Mississippi in the mid-1950s. For years, he owned and operated WMPR.
Mr. Evers also would let us know at 90.1 that there's a way of doing things. You can do things this way, you can do things that way, but at 90.1, things are done the Charles Evers way. He was a great leader. We are absolutely going to miss him.
Continuing to break barriers, Charles Evers ran for governor, and although he may have lost, he opened the door to possibilities for African-American candidates in the future, and his legacy will never be forgotten. For more on the life of Charles Evers, you can go to our website, WJTV.com. Jade?
Thank you, Kayla. Continuing our coverage of the life of Charles Evers, Walt Grayson says although Charles Evers is closely associated with his brother Medgar, he was also his own person.
Most of us first heard of Charles Evers when he stepped up and took over the office of NAACP field director for the state of Mississippi. That's the position that his brother Medgar was holding when Medgar was assassinated by Byron De La Beckwith. Journalist Jerry Mitchell says the two brothers were closely associated.
I think Charles Evers' legacy is very much tied to his brother's legacy.
But Charles Evers didn't march to the beat of the same drum as Medgar, working in civil rights and politics, yes, and leading marches and running for political office, yes, but Charles Evers was more his own man in many ways. Longtime friend, retired Jackson businessman, and amateur historian Johnny Morrow puts it this way.
And Charles was just a good, strong businessman. He had the patience of Job. And when he got to the point that he needed to speak out, he would speak out. And some of the pictures in this room reflect his kids and also Medgar's kids when they were around 6 years old. Also, he was good with morale for leadership for young adults to kind of get behind and listen to his message. And he always had a clean message, and he focused on just moving forward.
Closely associated with his brother Medgar, but independent too, sometimes criticized by the organization who opposed him taking over the reins for Medgar, the NAACP, supporting Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump for president, yet having strong leanings for Barack Obama too. Charles Evers, coming to prominence after his martyred brother's assassination, but definitely not staying in his younger brother's shadow. Dead at the age of 97. I'm Walt Grayson, 12 News.
Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith added on Twitter, quote, "What I admired most about Charles Evers was that he was a straight shooter, who kept what was best for our nation and Mississippi at heart. We are better for his service. And artist extraordinaire Marshall Ramsey drew a cartoon honoring Evers, picturing Medgar as an angel in heaven, saying, quote, I waited for you, brother, rather.
Well, 12 News has received a statement from the Evers family. It reads in part, our family appreciates the outpouring of affection, love, and support shown over the years. While our family is heartbroken by our loss, we are proud of the legacy he leaves behind. His voice will be missed, but will continue to resound over his home state of Mississippi.